Win back the neighbor's trust. Brad pushed the green beans to the edge of his plate and started on the pork chop. In fact, he'd hardly eaten anything the last 2 days, and I could see something was bothering him. Are you mad about Saturday night? It was when I went with a group of girls from work to O'Henry's, where there was a men's dance review going on. I probably crossed the line when it came to drinking that night. Brad wasn't the least bit jealous of the guys waving their dignity in front of me, but he wasn't happy about the mess I made drunkenly. I didn't blame him. The reason Brad isn't jealous is because, after all, we're just roommates. We have almost nothing in common, but the only thing we have in common is our weekday dinners together. We share our thoughts, solve financial issues, and do the dishes together. Sometimes we might also clean a room or both. It helps keep the apartment tidy and spreads the load. We may not be best friends, but as roommates, we make a good team. I wouldn't trade him for anything except maybe a husband one day. I'm still on the hunt for one. I repeated to Brad. I'm sorry I came home so drunk and threw up on the floor. I don't know how to thank you for helping me when I didn't deserve it. Brad dropped his fork. It clinked against his plate. Yeah, whatever you say, Mindy. It's not like you do this every weekend. There was no sarcasm in his words. It was the first time something like that had ever happened. Actually, I usually don't drink at all. Brad kept averting his gaze from me, so I press it on. Something's bothering you. Come on, Brad. Tell me. If it's a problem with me personally, it's okay to tell me what's going on. Have I caused more trouble than I can remember? Did I make an ass of myself? Please, is it okay to... Brad shook his head, waving me away. No, you didn't do anything like that. It's just... A long pause followed, but I remained silent until he was ready to continue. You don't remember much, do you? I barely remember Tammy and Becca dragging me through the front door. I do remember you helping get me inside and trying to drag me into the kitchen just to throw up in the sink. It didn't work. I don't remember much after that. Yeah, Brad scratched behind his ear, sighing heavily. Listen, Mindy, there's something I have to tell you and, well, it's really hard to say. I'll admit, the hair on the back of my neck stood up. Brad took advantage of me while I was drunk. I never in a million years would have thought he was that kind of guy. I felt completely safe with him. You remember waking up in your room, right? I do. It hit me, I didn't remember how I got there. I woke up in my Winnie the Pooh nightgown that I often wear before bed. I assumed I'd put it on myself. You threw up on your shirt. When the other 2 girls left, you insisted on putting it away and took off your shirt. And your bra. I slapped my hand on my forehead. Oh my God. This is so embarrassing. Brad, we've lived in the same apartment for 3 years, and I've never seen you, naked. Not before anyway. Is that why you're so upset, Brad? I swear, I'm so sorry I embarrassed you. No, please, let me finish. Anyway, you were kind of squirming on the floor, mumbling, pulling your clothes off. Mostly I was trying to stop you, but you probably don't remember. And when I was trying to convince you to slow down and stop, I said I'd get you a change of clothes. Anyway, as I was struggling to help you up, your left breast pressed hard against my right arm. You fell again, and I almost groped you, trying to catch you and keep you from hurting yourself. It was awkward and... Oh my God. Is that it? Is that why you were so upset? You accidentally groped me, Brad. I admit it wasn't intentional. It's okay. It's okay. Huh. If it didn't bother you so much, I'd probably make a joke and say I hope you're doing well. It was an attempt to lighten the mood, but Brad wasn't buying it. Honestly, you have my word. It's not a big deal yet. Brad lowered his head even more. I wish that was it, Mindy. You passed out shirtless. It was all twisted up on one arm. Your bra was just ripped off. I went to the bathroom to get towels and a nightie from your room. When I came back, I turned on the main light. Yeah, go on. And that's when I got a better look at you. You wouldn't wake up, so I called your name, patted you on the shoulder. When I did, your chest kind of jiggled. I don't know what came over me. Brad, what are you talking about? I'm embarrassed, Mindy. Maybe if I hadn't had a couple or 3 beers myself before, I wouldn't have done it, but that doesn't excuse my behavior. Come on, spit it out, Brad. Mindy, I got a crush when I looked at you. There was silence. Again. Then I started laughing. I caught myself again about to explain that Brad was exaggerating, but he spoke. I satisfied myself in front of you. Now that was hard. Another moment of silence followed as I digested his words. Wow. What? I asked quietly. You were just lying there, Mindy. I mean, I know you're very beautiful. Even in your drunken state, you have the body of a goddess. I didn't say anything. Perhaps one of the reasons Brad and I were such great roommates was that he never hit on me. He respected our relationship. When we first met, I thought he was the wrong orientation until he started dating Lilith Peterson. Unfortunately, they recently broke up. I don't know, Mindy. Something primal took over. I saw your body and I just lost my temper. When I finally finished satisfying myself, I felt like a total jerk, and I cleaned up. But the fact is, I can't continue without letting you know about this offense. I'm so ashamed of myself. While what Brad did wasn't cool, even criminal, I've unfortunately been treated much worse. Stories that too many women share. Still, Brad was right. This was out of line. Brad, where did you do it? What do you mean? I mean, how did you do it? Did you take a napkin? A sock? Again, there was silence in the air for a long time. Finally, Brad let out a barely audible sigh. The first time I did it on your stomach. The second time, on your breasts. You threw it on me? On my breasts? I was screaming, trying to figure it out. Why was I horny instead of angry? Although I didn't view Brad as a potential partner, and he never had been, the thought of someone enjoying looking at me while I was passed out turned me on incredibly. I had no idea it could be like that until this very moment. I realized that I probably needed to see a therapist about this, but right now I was really enjoying this, and I wanted to see how much it turned me on. I wanted Brad to tell me. Mindy, I'm so sorry. If you want to report me or something, I understand. Actually, I kind of... Brad, just stop. Let me think about it, okay? He nodded. Explain it to me again, in detail. What exactly caused this? Well, you tripped while trying to undress. I tried to convince you to stop undressing, but instead I accidentally touched you. A few moments later, you completely passed out, and I took advantage of that. I enjoyed looking at your naked body. You fantasized about making love to me, didn't you? Brad was almost in tears. I slowed down. Look, Brad, I want to get this over with. I really do. I hate the idea that we can't be honest and comfortable with each other. If you help me understand everything that's happened, and if I see real remorse on your part, then I might forget about it. It may take me a few days to digest this, but I will insist that we continue to be wonderful neighbors. To accomplish that, I need that trust to extend to me. Otherwise, we'll have to part ways. What exactly do you want? Not an ounce of secrecy. Tell me every last detail. I want every second accounted for, from the moment I was dropped off to when I woke up the next morning. You understand? It doesn't matter how many times we have to discuss it until I'm satisfied. Brad nodded, remaining silent. Walk me to the door. Show me where it started. Brad reluctantly followed me to the front door. How long had Becca and Tammy been here? Didn't they help me get to the kitchen? No. They helped you into the apartment and laughed at you while they dropped you off. You threatened to throw up and they didn't want to be disgusted, so they hurried to get away. Oh, yeah. I don't remember it very well. How long was it before I threw up? I kept trying to convince you to get up off the floor. You kept talking to someone other than me, like your friends were still here, at least for a while. After a few minutes, you felt nauseous and tried to get up. It ended miserably. You threw up on yourself and on the floor. Yeah, that's disgusting. I'm sorry. Sincerely speaking, I don't have a drinking problem. It was the first time I'd been drunk in over a year. I've never had an alcoholic blackout until now. Okay, show me what happened when I was in the kitchen. Was I still dressed? As soon as you got to the sink, you started undressing. I tried to stop you, but you were very determined. You said you needed to wash up. I wasn't thinking straight. No, you weren't. Anyway, that's when you got to your feet, but you tripped. We fell, and I felt it. I want you to show me. Show you what? I've already explained. You were facing me here, next to the sink, pulling off your shirt, which at that moment seemed to catch on your shoulder and forearm. I tried to pull it back down, and I walked over to the sink and turned to him, interrupting him. So, I was here? Sort of. Turn a little to this side, closer to the lockers. Like this? Brad nodded. And I was ripping off my clothes right here? That's right. I'm not taking my clothes off, Brad, but I want you to demonstrate the way your hand touched my breast. You better be honest. If I even suspect any doubts about truthfulness or any bullshit, we can terminate the lease right now. All right. I'll tell you everything honestly. It was like this. You were here, I reached over to try and fix your shirt. Brad reached out and touched my wrist and elbow. Now pushed towards me, possibly falling past me. That's when I reached out and grabbed you like this. Brad pulled me forward and I lost my balance, but a split second later he saved me from a hard fall by catching my left hand on my right breast. He turned me around, dragging me to the floor behind him while he himself barely kept his balance standing over me. As I spun around in the process, he squeezed and pulled me to cushion my fall, literally grabbing my chest to save me from a harder landing. He certainly had me well pinned down. And you say it all happened quickly and that was your only option? You couldn't put your arm around my waist? I don't know, Mindy. I didn't do it on purpose. Brad fell silent, tears welling up in his eyes. He nodded quietly and looked away. Brad, did you touch me again later? It wasn't just when I fell, was it? Brad nodded even faster, his chin dropping to his chest in shame. More tears ran down his cheeks. Calm down, Brad, I said. You don't have to cry, but tell me. Tell me where and how you touched me. Tell me everything. Do you already understand everything? He struggled to keep from sobbing. No, not quite. I need you to explain it to me. Brad, did you touch my breasts while stroking yourself? He nodded again. Did you twist and rub my breasts? He nodded again, but still refused to look me in the eye. Brad, did you kiss my breasts? A pause followed, but I already knew the answer and I was soaking wet just thinking about it. Then it hit me. Was it possible that he had taken it further? I grasped at it. Brad? You made love to me? I'd never heard such a scream before. You'd think it was me imposing on him, not the other way around, and I really wanted to say it, but damn it, he was punishing himself for it even more than I wanted to. Even though I know I should be outraged and disgusted, I was incredibly turned on. I like to think that if someone other than Brad had done this to me, I would have been traumatized. But honestly, I'm not so sure about that either. I get it. I'm a pervert. Perhaps it affects me less negatively because of the circumstances, and because I know Brad so well. No doubt he had hours of therapy ahead of him, but I saw real remorse. His sadness wasn't what turned me on so damn much. Rather, Brad's admission that he'd used my body without my knowledge or consent triggered another attack in me. I'd give a month's paycheck to see a videotape of that. Where did you make love to me, Brad? He pointed to the floor by the door. Was I standing? Brad took a breath and spoke in a broken voice. You were completely naked by then, and your head was there, your feet there, he pointed. I was so sorry. I couldn't help it. I used you. He let out a loud scream. I paused, allowing myself to be quiet while Brad tried to calm down, but I knew from the start what I was going to say. Brad, I'll forgive you on one condition. Anything, he exclaimed, snot dripping from his nose. He quickly wiped himself. Good, because what I'm asking might be too serious. He nodded again, agreeing, that is, until he had to hear what I was about to say. I need to relive it, Brad, to feel it deeply. I need you to rebuild everything. Physically. We'll go over everything that happened step by step. What? No, I can't do this to you. No, Brad. I'm not going to be drunk. I'm just going to play the part. I need to understand and experience exactly what happened. You have to do this for me so I can move on. Wait, you mean you want me to do everything I did to you again? That's right, Brad. The tears came again. But it's so awful. Yeah, it's so awful that you did it twice. It made him turn to me. And you'll do it again. You'll use me just like you used me 2 nights ago. Understand? Brad nodded quickly. Mind you, I'm allowing this because I still trust you as a friend. I believe you're remorseful, but I need to really get over what happened to me. I give you my permission to do this to me, Brad, but that doesn't mean I know in advance how I'll react to it. Uh-huh, Brad gasped or sighed. 10 minutes later, Brad was already making love to me. Up to this point, he had been demonstrating every aspect of the story he had shared so far. He had pawed me, groped me, helped undress me. He even kissed my breasts. Every step of the way, I insisted that I needed exactly the same conditions. Every tiny detail, which brings us to the present moment. And I was so relaxed, completely unconscious. By this time, I was completely naked with Brad towering over me. Yeah, that's almost exactly what happened, except you weren't so enthusiastic then, he said. His movements were slow and methodical. Oh, okay. You just made love to me slowly and quietly like that the whole time? He paused for a moment and then quickened his pace. I don't understand why you're making me do this, Brad moaned. I need this, Brad. Please, just make love to me. Use me like you did the other day. I don't know what came over me. I'd never reached such peaks of arousal and behavior. When Brad was pounding me, I didn't make the slightest effort or movement. I just let my body hang out while Brad manipulated me. Good, but you have to keep going. Every step has to be recreated. It seemed amazing to me how I could be so completely slack, taking all this pleasure and at the same time maintaining some sort of conversation. We made love 3 times and I was delighted. Thank you, Brad. I'm glad you did this for me. I struggled to say the words smoothly, so exhausted from the pleasure. I continued softly. There is one thing I ask. What? Brad asked, confused by the obvious change in my attitude. It was clear to him that I wasn't offended by his actions. It certainly made him feel better to cope. But he was confused. He propped himself up on his elbows, looking at me. What else do you want me to do? I want to do it again. Maybe we can come up with more scenarios in the future. The end.